Want to learn English without memorizing grammar rules? Let this spooky travel story do the work for you. You'll follow every twist, every eerie moment, and your brain will pick up the language naturally along the way. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. You don't want to miss stories like this. It was supposed to be a simple 3-night stay in London. Nothing fancy. Just a small hotel close to the city center, with decent reviews and a good price. The pictures online showed an old building with red bricks and ivy climbing the walls. The inside looked vintage: fireplaces, wooden furniture, a grand staircase. A little old-fashioned maybe, but charming. She arrived late in the evening. The taxi dropped her off in front of a narrow alley. Rain had just stopped, so everything smelled like wet stone and city dust. The sign above the door read, "The Thornrose Hotel." Gold letters on black wood. Classy, but a bit faded. She stepped inside. The lobby was quiet. Too quiet. A man at the front desk looked up slowly. He wore a vest, a tie, and an expression that never quite turned into a smile. He handed her an old-fashioned key. Not a card, but a real metal key with a long tag. "Room 303, he said. She took the elevator. It creaked all the way up. The hallway was dim. The carpet was deep red. The wallpaper had tiny flowers that looked like they hadn't seen sunlight in decades. She found her room at the end of the hall. Turned the key. Pushed the door open. Inside, it smelled like old books. Not unpleasant, just musty. The bed was big, with a carved wooden frame. A painting of a woman in a green dress hung over the fireplace. Her eyes seemed to follow the room. She dropped her bags, sat on the bed, and took a breath. Long travel days always hit hard after check-in. Later that night, she lay under heavy blankets and tried to sleep. But something felt off. The room was cold. Too cold. She checked the heater. It was on, but the air didn't feel warm. Just dry. Around 2 a.m., she woke up suddenly. No noise. No movement. Just a sharp feeling, like she wasn't alone. She sat up and looked around. The painting above the fireplace looked darker somehow. She got up and turned on the lamp. Its yellow light filled the room slowly. Nothing moved, but the feeling stayed. She checked her phone. No messages. No Wi-Fi. She got back into bed, pulled the covers tight, and closed her eyes. The next morning, she found something strange. Her suitcase was slightly open. She was sure she'd zipped it before sleeping. Maybe she forgot. That evening, she asked the receptionist if anyone else had stayed in room 303 recently. He didn't answer right away. Just stared at her for a second too long. Then said, "It's not often requested." That night, the weird feeling returned. She heard a soft creak, like footsteps on old floorboards. She sat up. No one there. Then she saw it. The chair near the window had moved slightly. It had been next to the desk earlier. Now it faced the bed. She turned on every light in the room and didn't sleep a second. In the morning, she asked for a different room. The new room was smaller, brighter, and totally normal. At checkout, a younger staff member whispered something as he handed her the receipt. "You stayed in the Rose Room," he said quietly. "That's what we call 303. She asked why. He hesitated, then added, "Back in 1910, a woman in green never checked out." She blinked. Oh! That night, far from the hotel, in a loud and cheerful cafe, she laughed about it. But part of her wasn't sure if the laughter came from relief or nerves. She opened her notebook and wrote, "Lesson learned, read the full reviews. And always double-check the room history, especially if there's a portrait involved." Creepy, right? But while you were lost in that story, your English was getting better without you noticing. That's how we do it here. If you've ever had a strange experience while traveling, tell us about it in the comments. And remember, new stories drop every single day.